Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 19. We've got a few more pallets that we want to load on here, as well as a couple more bags. Before we do that though, there's a new mod that I've got that I've just been taking a quick look at. I'll tell you what I will do. I will remove the straps from there in the hope that we can make this work properly. I'm hoping that'll work properly. Yeah, I got a new mod. I've got one that should, in theory, show us all of this information. So I pressed F9 to bring that one up. And this is an overview showing prices for different crops and so on and so forth. And what you can do is if I press and hold F11 and then use the sideways key, I can leave it on that if I want to, and I can have just down the side of my screen all the quantities of different things that I actually have in storage. It doesn't seem to be all that accurate though, because like seeds, eggs, wool, I've got 3, 6, and 13. Round bales, that's a bit more accurate. So I'm not really sure, unless it's pallets of. It might be pallets of or containers, because I got 13 containers of wool. But yeah. The other bits, I'm not worried. I didn't get it for those bits. I got this mostly for the quantities for the grain at the top. So I press and hold F11. And if I go that way, it's unknown, empty. So we go back to number 1. And it's this one here that I wanted. I just wanted to be able to have this one come up so that I can keep an eye on some prices whilst I'm actually looking around. So if I want to just have a little look at what other prices are doing around the map while I'm busy watching something, I can do that, and then I can, for example, keep an eye on what the price of corn is doing in different regions, and then when I see it reach a good rate, I know that I can go off and I can do it. And I just thought I'd show you this and sort of there'll be a link in the description down below. It's because it's something I'm thinking of using in the time-lapse. So I just wanted to sort of try. You can see I got it on Euros at the moment because I've been doing time-lapse recording. But I just wanted to try it out on here just to see how it works. And it does seem pretty good. Anyway, that's not what we're doing today. There is something that I do need to do. I need to go back over to here and let that one carry on planting the wheat in this field. We've got some patches at each end where the trees are and stuff, but not too bad, really. Anyway, I'm not worried about that. This is the one that I want. We want to carry on and load 2 more bags of fertilizer onto that trailer, and then we've got a load of egg pallets that we want to put on there as well. The egg pallets will be relatively straightforward. It's these bags here that are a little bit more difficult to load without that crane lifter tool, but we have been coping with it. We have been able to do it. They stretch an awful lot when you're trying to load them, which does make it a bit difficult. I was wondering if I could pick up 2 of them, but I really don't think that would be a good idea to even attempt such a thing. So we'll get that one up onto there. And I'm in really the wrong position here, and that trailer is too far out. Let's move this over a bit. I'll move that round. Bring it up this way a bit more. Like that. That one can stop back there a bit. Whoop, whoop, steady, steady. And we'll go to the tractor and trailer right here. If I put the straps on just to hold everything in place, I definitely need to have that trailer closer to the wall. We need to be hugging that wall nice and tight, or that skid steer is just not going to be able to reach over. And I don't really want it any further down than about there, I think. That's a bit better. Right. So we'll stop there. I've also got to watch what those pallets are doing because it's on an angle. They are moving a little bit. It would be better if I could put... Oh, no. I'm going to go round like that. Just move it a little bit. There we go. Well, we've at least managed to get the thing over there. Now, if I lower it down, like that. The big problem we have with this one is getting it to unhook to leave the pallet forks. It really doesn't like leaving the pallet forks. It's on the trailer. Let's not mess around with it. Let's not question it too much. We'll leave it like it is. There is currently, I've seen on the forum, they've just put a post up and a poll regarding sounds in the game. And they want your feedback, because there's been complaints about the sound. And so what they're asking, there is a poll about what you think of the current sound quality and so on. But they're also asking for feedback. What sound in the game is right, so that they've got a good starting off point to sort of work with. And what particular examples of the sound being bad do you have? So going on there and just saying the sound is rubbish is not going to benefit anybody. It's not going to benefit you. It's not going to benefit them. It's not going to benefit anybody whatsoever. Giving examples of what you think is wrong with the sound in the game at the moment, that is going to help a lot of people. It's going to help us. It's going to help them to get it right. So if you've got some input regarding sound and you would like them to, that you'd like them to listen to and pay attention to, make sure you get over onto the forums. Just go to the Farming Simulator website and click the link at the top of the screen there for the forums. And I strongly recommend that you give some feedback about sound. If the sound is one thing that's bothering you, quite a few people have already said the one thing that I'm not overly keen on with the sound in the game, the way that when you zoom out, it goes really, really quiet, really, really fast. I think it cuts out a little bit too soon. It's too sharp as well. And there's not enough sound with the tractors under load. It doesn't seem to, in my mind, accurately represent tractors being under load when they're working in the fields. Other than that, I think the sounds are pretty reasonable. You know, I think they're pretty good, but there is just like little bits with tractors being under load that's when I notice it most. And when they're going along a road and that they sort of sound like they're idling when they're going up the hill, when, yes, when a tractor is going fast down a hill, it can sound like it's idling. And that is sort of fairly reasonable, but it's when it's going up the hill and you get the same idling sound kicking in that seems a little bit odd. And it seems to be a lack of the odd sort of hisses and things like that you get when you're using a vehicle that is equipped with air brakes. You get just a random hiss every now and then, which is the air tanks filling up and then just venting a little bit, or at least you used to, and you used to get that sound coming up fairly regularly in FS17. And people have already said that on the forum, so I haven't bothered writing in another piece to say exactly the same thing. There's quite a few people have sort of already expressed the areas that I think the sound could use improving. Overall, it's got to be said, I answered that I was fairly indifferent about the sound overall, and I thought that the combines have got a fairly good roar as they start up and they work through. It sounds pretty good. There's a few bits that I wasn't pleased with, but overall I was largely fairly indifferent to it. But you can see from the poll results that a lot of people aren't particularly happy with the sound. And now that I'm sort of thinking about it, I do notice it a bit, like on here. If we swing round here a minute and we stop, I'm getting a roar as I'm coming up here, and it's sounding good. But some tractors, when they're under load, they don't sound like they're under load. Some of them are. It's not quite right with the way that the under load bits are depicted, I think. So yeah, if you've got any specific issues with the sound and the sound quality and how it should be represented into the game, now's your chance, because they're gathering up all the data that they can and they're handing it over to the sound team. So I would expect a significant update to the sound fairly soon. If they're going to the effort of going and gathering up a whole load of data like that, it usually means, when giants do this, it usually means that they are going to then dedicate a bit of time to correcting all the issues. So make sure you get your your complaints in about it now, do so in a constructive way. I strongly urge you to do that in a constructive way, because just going on there and giving them a mouthful of abuse about what you think it should have been 6 months ago is not going to benefit anyone anything whatsoever. And it, you know, yeah, if you want it fixed, then, you know, now's the chance. Now's the opportunity to go for it. I would just take the chance to, like, highlight each issue right. If you've got any trouble with ambient sounds coming through animals, anything like that, go and talk about it. Make a long post. Spend an hour writing out a thesis on what you think is wrong with the sounds and put that on the forum. If you think that, you know, if there is all these issues that you've got with it and you think that these different things should be improved, by all means do it. That's the sort of stuff that they're looking for. That's what they want. They want you to detail what you think is wrong with it, but they're also specifically asking for you to list some of the things that you think are right with the sounds, not because they're looking for praise. He does explain it quite clearly. Lissatan does. I think it's Lissatan that's done it. But they're not looking for praise. They want to know the bits that you think that they've got right, so that they can look at those and use those as a mark point to start getting the bits that aren't right, start correcting the bits that aren't right. And so it's a really good idea. And it's also a really good approach to it, because if you can sort of look at a bit and you can say, well, that bit you've got right. So, like, the raw under load of the combines working is absolutely spot on, but the tractors is not. You've got that wrong. Some people saying about the horns in the small tractors seem about right, but the horns in the big tractors are exactly the same as the ones in the small tractors, and they shouldn't be. They should be more like air horns in the large tractors like that, because that's what they would be in real life. So that's the kind of feedback that they need. That's the kind of feedback that is actually going to make a difference and allow the development team to work on some solutions for us all. So if you've got any issues, make sure you head over to the forums, preferably as soon as this video goes live. I am very well aware that this video is not going to be live until tomorrow. Well, it's tomorrow for me. So that post will probably still be there and still looking for feedback by the time you watch this video. I'm kind of hoping that it is, because this is a good chance. And keep an eye on those forums. If you've not really looked at them before, that's the #1 place that Giants go to for feedback for the game. And it's useful as well. You do get quite a lot of interesting feedback there from devs and so on. It's a chance to keep up with what mods are being tested and coming out, and just other little details like that. So go and check out that forum if you haven't already, because there's other useful stuff in there as well. And there's always interesting discussions going on. I rarely get a chance to stop and look at the forums, but every now and then I'll take 10 minutes out of my day and I'll go over and I'll read a few of the interesting posts and some of the differing opinions that turn up, because it can help me to sort of get an idea of what people look for in content as well. So, you know, I do it sort of in order to help the channel a little bit, to see what people might want. I don't just go on comments. I don't just go on comments on the videos on here. I also go and look at things like that, so that I can see feedback from other people and sort of see what things they look for in the game, which gives me clues as to what they might be looking for in videos. Because I know that not everybody comments. You know, some people will watch a video and not bother commenting. They'll just keep their opinion to themselves. But they may not necessarily like everything that they're seeing. And so I find that things like that can be useful feedback. So anybody that is a budding YouTuber and you're trying to build up a bit of an audience for YouTube, chances are if you're watching this video and you're a budding YouTuber, you're probably thinking of making, or you are making, Farming Simulator content. Look at the Farming Simulator forums. All right, there's a little tip for you right there. Go and look at the forums, because that will give you a lot of good feedback about what an audience might be after. Not necessarily what they are after, just it's more they might be after this. This might be kind of a thing to sort of go for. You've also got to keep in mind that it's not very easy doing that, because when it comes to forums, you've usually got 300 different people on there and 300 different opinions as well. So it does make it a little bit difficult. Now, we are going to take this bad boy back home. It was a lot faster getting back to the farm with the Fendt than it is getting back to the farm with this one. However, we're getting there very, very slowly. One of the single worst things about driving. Okay, now there is a sound issue. There, right there, and that's one that I've seen several people saying. The sound cutoff when you go into cab is significant, and it shouldn't be. Should not be like this. But anyway, one of the worst things about driving any kind of skid steer, for me at least, and pretty sure some other people would feel the same, is going uphill. I always feel really sort of uncomfortable about the way that the machine can actually roll over backwards. And yeah, it really, really does make me decidedly uncomfortable. Because when you're in there and you're sort of leaning back, you've got the bar in place. You've got quite a counterweight behind you, and there's not a lot stopping it from tilting back and the front wheels lifting up. And I have experienced the front wheels lifting up, and it, quite frankly, it's a worrying thing. It's a very worrying thing. It really is. So it's that's the worst aspect of driving a skid steer is that bit where the wheels leave the ground. And yeah, they do. They bounce all over the place. And usually when the wheels leave the ground, it just sits back and rests on the back end of the machine there, and then settles back down again. But if you're going up a hill, then it can sort of settle back onto his haunches, and it may not be quite so good. You sort of, well, I wouldn't recommend doing that. And the machine's not particularly strong, so it's not trying to lurch forwards at any point. We'll take it for a little drive down here. Scurrying around all right, without too much trouble. It's not really causing us any difficulties here. But, yeah, it does get a little tiny bit worrying when it tries to start doing crazy things. And it's not the most sort of comfortable sensation. It's got to be said. Anyway, what I wanted to do, I'll tell you what, because we've actually got our fertilizer loaded up on there now, but I wanted to try out that hook with, so what are we going to do? We'll leave the trailer right here. I don't need to have that one running. We'll leave the trailer here, but we'll take the straps off a minute, and we'll go and get the other tractor. Where'd I leave that? That's over down the other side, isn't it? There. We'll clean this off a minute. I have been asked if I could tidy up the yard. Right? I'm aware that the yard is currently a bit of a pigsty. And so it is on my to-do list, fear not. I will probably, in our next episode, in Monday's episode, be spending a little bit of time just tidying things up here and putting the machinery away where it's supposed to go. And generally keeping things a lot tidier than they are now, because I am aware that this is starting to get a little bit poor. We got stuff absolutely everywhere at the moment, and we don't want to be that guy, do we? We don't want to be the one that runs the place like a pigsty. Just because we got an old scrap heap up there under the tree doesn't mean that the rest of the farm also has to be a rubbish tip. We could just pile all of the rubbish up in the one rubbish tip, and then we'd be a neat and tidy farm again. So that's what we're going to do. Well, I say that's what we are going to do. That's kind of what I'm hoping to do at some point is to do that. I like this. I can just press F9 and switch on that right there. See? Now I've got access to all current prices on the market. So if we look down the list, I can see wool right there is currently at 2,000 euros a pallet, which quite frankly is not too bad. So I'd like to load up all the wool that we've got, and I'd like to sell it. So press F9, just get rid of that. Start you up. I'm going to drop you right there. I'm not going to worry about you for a minute. Ooh, steady. Yeah, so I can sell all the wool, but I got a feeling that I can't sell it straight off the trailer. I think I've got to unload the wool in order to be able to sell it, and that's one thing that quite a few people are not overly impressed with at the moment with regards to wool, and wool sale as well. It is definitely an issue for quite a number of people. So we lift that one up like that, so it's right up out of the way. Then we come along over here. Now this is all in theory, because I've not actually done this yet. This is the theory of how this thing is supposed to work. We bring it over this way, and we load the... Oh, no, we don't need the X lifter. So we don't need the X bit at all for this. So I'm going to put that over here next to the stump grinder so that I don't lose it. So we want to lower that one down. Yeah, like that. And extend the boom out like that. If I lower down with V as well. That's as low down to the ground as I can get it. So go like that. And I'll unhitch it. So it's there. I can hitch it back on again if I want to. Then raise that one back up like that, and I'll pull the hook in. I'll also lift that one up a minute. So that one's ready to go. We've got the hook there. Although the bag that we're going to want is up on the trailer at the moment, and we need to be able to unload it. I'm wondering if we ought to drag the bag off the trailer first with this. Should we do it like that? Yeah, we will actually. We'll unload these pallets a minute. Bags, rather. We will unload the bags. So we're going to bring that one in. I just want to bring that one in line like that. And I need to lower down the hook. Just do it steady like that. Doesn't need to go any further back than that. Right, so then I can lift ever so slightly so we get it to there, and then it will hook on like it's supposed to. And that'll lift up into the air. And that actually lifts right up high enough so that we can take it right off of the trailer without any issues. And that's pretty good. So if we'd taken this one with us up to the load point up there, we'd have been able to load it onto the trailer without any issues at all. Just wondering where I should put this stuff. Ideally, you want to put this under cover. You don't want to be leaving this out where it's going to get rained on. So I think what we'll do is we'll make a line of these bags back in here. We'll have to do these one at a time. Lower that down. There we go. Right, so I'm put one down there like that. There's the first bag. And lift it up to about that point there. And we'll go over to the trailer. I suppose really I could just bring the trailer a little bit closer to us. It might make it a bit easier. I was kind of thinking that up here has got a nice flat level area that we can work on. And that might make it a bit easier for us. I know what else I'm going to do. I'm going to take the bags off the other side a minute. And I'm going to leave one bag on there because there's something else I'd like to try. Bring that one back. Like that. There we go. Right, it's a fair way away from it, but it still loads up. And it's got to be said, I do actually quite like that aspect of this game. That it's very, very forgiving about the position that you've got your vehicle in. It's extremely forgiving about that. And sometimes that is a bit of a godsend if you know, some days you're just not in the mood for kind of maneuvering around carefully. You know, if you're doing the job in real life, then yeah, you've got to get it spot on perfect every time, because otherwise you're just not going to be able to pick it up. It just goes without saying. But, you know, occasionally when you're playing a game, it's nice just to be able to get near the point that you're trying to load, because I don't necessarily want to be messing around with getting things spot on accurate with loading bags or something. I might want to be getting on with a combining job. So if I can just go in roughly the vicinity of where the header should go and press the button and it's hooked on and it's ready to roll, then I can go and do the combining that I actually want to do. And that is something that I really do quite appreciate about the game, is that it does give you that option. And I can bring this one in and I can get it to roughly the right place there and I can load it. Or if I'm feeling like being a little bit more accurate with it, I can do that. I can make sure that I bring that and line it up, and I can bring it back in, and I could even do this from in-cab if I wanted, but mate, you all know my thoughts on in-cab driving. I'm not a fan of in-cab driving in this game. Sometimes things like that happen, which is not quite as good, admittedly, as what some people might wish for. We'll lower that down here and extend that one out. Hopefully it'll pull that bag into position. If I undo this one now, what's it going to do? It's going to do that. There we go. Right. Okay. That's because I put the hook went into the wrong position, and then you probably noticed it when I was doing it. The hook got flipped up to the top, and then it sort of grabbed the bag and did the same with the bag. I didn't realise it would do that, to be fair. So next time I know, I'll just have to be a little bit more careful if the hook gets nudged out of the way. We'll just make sure that we don't hook it on like that. But yeah, so I've got the option. I've got the choice. Bring that one back into there like that, and there we go. Right, so we've got 3 bags of fertilizer in here, and these bags of fertilizer hold 2,000, is it 2,000 litres each? I can't remember. Oh, hang on, no, it says there, yeah, 2,000, so we got 6,000 litres of fertilizer in here, all ready to roll. And we've got another 2,000 litres on the trailer up there. We've also got our fertilizer spinner over here. Now, in theory, what this should do is I'll bring that one in there, right? And I'll lift the hook up like that, so it's out of the way. And then lower this one down like that. And I should now be able to put that one on there. And it does. It does. The PTO reaches through it like it's supposed to. Now, lifting and lowering it doesn't work because I've currently got the fertilizer spinner selected. So press G so that I've got that one selected, and then I can raise that one up into position like that. And then I can press G again. So I've now got the fertilizer spinner selected, and I can open it like that, so it's ready to accept fertilizer. So then we come along here, and we can just load it straight from the side of the trailer, or we can use this thing properly, and this is what we're going to do this time. People have told me that they actually use machines like this, that they use things like this, and it's really good because you use the crane arm to hook onto the bag, and then it just lifts it up, pulls it forward over the fertilizer spinner, and job's a good one. You've got the thing picked up, and it's absolutely perfect. So we bring that over to there like that, and we lower it down a little bit there, not too much, like that, and extend out the boom. Now I want to get this loaded into, I want to make sure that we get this right, so we're going to extend it out a little bit more, hook that one on, and then start lifting it like this. So the boom is fully extended, and we start lifting it like that, and that brings it straight back over the fertilizer spinner. I can lower the boom back down like that, and it's unloading into the fertilizer spinner like that, and it's all fully loaded. So then I can clamp that one back down. I can bring that one down like that. So I've got the crane. It's not stuck up above the tractor. It's quite important to make sure that it's not stuck up above the tractor. We can close the lid like that. And it's ready to go and start fertilizing. We've actually got it all loaded up just like that with our crane arm. And it's completely self-loading. You're not then relying on someone else with a loader to come out and do it for you. Now, when I used to load up a fertilizer spinner like this, it wasn't one exactly like this, but it was similar. When I used to do it, we used to have a long metal bar, and on the end of the metal bar, we had a tooth from a combine, from the cutting from the header on a combine, and that was the bit that we used to use to cut. It was just one of those teeth, and the knife on there that we used to use to do the cutting. It worked really well. It was like really, really good for doing the cutting. It was absolutely wonderful. You just had this thing and you whack it up underneath and then haul it back towards you. It was a perfect triangle-shaped knife that you could slice in underneath on the fertilizer bags. And you would not find a better way of opening the fertilizer. Trust me on this. I did. We used to. I used to use a knife. I just used to use a pocket knife, and then I went to this other farm, and they had this tool made up, and it was so much better. For one, you didn't get bits of fertilizer getting stuck in. Just little fertilizer dust in your knife, which would cause your knife to rust really, really quickly, especially if you're using nitrogen fertilizers. That's absolutely terrible for your knife, by the way. It really is. It's terrible stuff for your knife. Appalling. You don't want to have that on your knife. It really does rust the thing out fast. And so, yeah, you'd have this bar instead, and you'd stand back. You wouldn't get your hands covered in fertilizer. And, if you just get a bit of fertilizer on your hands, it's fine. It doesn't do anything at all. But if you spend all day getting bits of fertilizer on your hands and you're not washing your hands properly, by the end of the day, your hands can get really, really, really sore with the nitrogen fertilizer. And if you're like me, I spend a lot of time touching my face. It's just something that I do. Constantly scratching my eyes, rubbing near my eyes. It's just a thing that I do. Some people do it more than others. You constant hands to face. I'm one of those people that does. So when I'm working, I generally have a bit of water with me that I can just rinse my hands off if I've been doing something, because otherwise I invariably end up getting some sort of chemical on my face or near my eyes, and then I get sore eyes. It's just something that happens. I know other people like it as well. It's not I know that it's not just me. I mean, there may be a limited number of people, but yeah, it's I find it difficult doing a job where I absolutely can't touch my eyes or touch anywhere on my face at all. If it's just dirt, if it's just soil, it's fine. I generally come in and look like I've been eating the stuff as well as working with it. I really do. But being able to not have to touch the fertilizer with your hands is a really good thing, and using a bar like that is absolutely awesome. But this is just phenomenal, because you've just turned a two-man job into a one-man job, right? You can go and put bags of fertilizer, you can drop them off at the edge of a dozen different fields. And one of the places that I used to work, it was a big arable estate, and so we had our fertilizer in a couple of locations, and then we would take a telehandler there, and the person would load himself up. But he would still have to drive a considerable distance every time he wanted to reload the fertilizer. And he always said it'd be so much easier if we could just load it onto a trailer instead of taking it to the 3 different points on the farm where we unloaded it. If we could, put a stockpile in between 2 or 3 fields all the way round. But he said, we can't do that because it would mean that he'd be forever walking to go and get the telehandler, or having to get someone else to go and get the telehandler for him to come and load him back up again. And that wouldn't really work. It's not really the way that you could go and do things. So he had to do it like this. And if you had that trailer and the telehandler, and one person went round And you could even put the trailer on the back of the telehandler, because ours had a hitch on it. Probably struggle to pull it, admittedly, if it's loaded down with fertilizer, but it would only take you an hour and a half with 2 people to go and load up big trailer load of fertilizer, run it round the farm, and put it into 24 different stockpiles, and then the person who's on the fertilizer spinner have one of these, and he goes up to each of them and he can just load it up. Put a tarp over them if you think it's going to rain. It's a genuinely brilliant solution. It really is. I think this mod is absolutely wonderful. It's got so much potential for it. There's a lot of different things that you could do with this mod as well. Let's just switch off the hired help a minute. There always seems to be a little bit right here that it misses. And I think that's just because of the steep hills and stuff. So we'll go up this way and get the last little bit of fertilizer on this field. And we're all done up here. So then this field is now completely fertilized, but it's not been weeded. We haven't done the weeding yet. We've just done fertilizer at the moment. So we'll switch that one off. There. And we'll run down and we'll go and do the other field. So we've got all the fertilizer that we need on both fields. And that's what I wanted to get accomplished today. We've got the skid steer back to the farm. We've got some more egg pallets there ready and waiting to go. And we've got a double application of fertilizer across all of the fields. So we don't have to concern ourselves with getting more fertilizer on later on when the crop grows a little bit. So our next task that we can then sort of start focusing on is expanding those chickens, because we can fast forward time now quite a bit while we wait for this crop to grow. The only thing we do have to watch out for is the weeds coming up. We're going to get weeds coming up in this field, and of course the big question is, do we spray for the weeds or do we go and get a weeder? I know we're minus $300 at the moment, but do we go and get a weeder and weed the fields? Weed all the fields. So we do it sort of basically for free. I mean, yeah, we got to pay for the weeder, but other than paying for the weeder, it's free. I know I missed a little bit back there. It'll be fine. It'll be absolutely fine. Don't worry about it. And or we could just use the spray. We've got the sprayer there. Don't know if we've got... Yeah, we do actually, don't we? We've got another pallet of spray as well that we could also use. So we should be absolutely fine for weeding either option. I think we'll stick with the spray for now. We're not going to worry about turning this farm organic. We'll see about doing organic farming at some point in the future. I did talk a bit about organic farming. I think I talked a bit about organic farming yesterday. You know, I honestly can't remember now. My mind is starting to slip in my old age. But we have just about run out of time. I will finish up this field so that you can see this field finished, and then we will have done everything that I want to do today. We've got the trailer back, we've got the fertilizer unloaded properly and into the shed. We need to get the rest of that trailer unloaded, and we need to get those pallets put away properly. The egg pallets, we'll probably leave them out a little bit so that they're available by the chickens. I do want to get more chickens, but in order to do that, we're going to have to expand our land. Now, I just seen a mod has come out that removes the 10 stable limit. I wasn't aware that there was a limit of 10 stables on the map, or on any map. I absolutely had no clue about this. This is all news to me. I genuinely did have no idea about that. But apparently you can only have 10 on the map. And so there's a mod that has come out that has removed that. You can now have up to 32, although they strongly recommend that unless you've got a fairly powerful PC, you don't use all of them. Because if you use all of them, you could end up with a spotted bother. So if I leave that one on there, those two can stay together, I think. I think that will work quite well. They strongly recommend that you don't plonk all 32 down unless you've got a reasonably strong, powerful PC in order to run it. And they also strongly recommend that no matter how powerful your machine, you don't put 32 animal pens together in one big area, or you are going to get some issues. You are going to get some slight issues. Anyway, it is all we got time for. So if you've enjoyed the episode, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.